Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
Oh my dog, hey!
Oh my dog. Hello. Hi.
It's Kara.
And Holly.
And we're back again. Still having fun. Oh man. All right. Well, so I am in the depths of fair despair, and by despair I mean I'm having a lot of fun out at the fair.
And see, I don't think people know what you do out there because we mentioned it on the last podcast, and then when I listened to it, I was like,
that doesn't
they
make any
think
sense.
she's just a fair goer. Like,
Well,
she's going to go to the fair every day.
I do.
There are people that do that.
Yeah.
I would like to have their money problems, but
I've been doing that for years. You just have to know, where to put the cooler in your trunk,
Right.
But no, so I'm the fine art superintendent at the fair. So I put on the fine art show in the cultural building, and I then staff that. And so I have to be out there usually every day, though today I'm skipping so that I can record this, and it worked out well because we've got people out there working, so I didn't need to go. And it's raining, so yucky day to go to the fair anyway.
This weather this week is crazy. I mean, usually it's...
I know. Well, and I love the heat, so
I
don't
do
get me
too.
wrong, but these last few days at the fair have been glorious. I have not sweated one drip. Nothing.
But today I'm in a
Today,
freaking sweatshirt.
Yeah,
and
I'm wearing
long
like
pants.
big baggy pants. I got a flannel around my waist. Like, I'm freezing.
And it was so warm this spring, so early. I think we're just
Paying
shifting.
for it now.
Yeah, now it's going to be early. It's going to be snowing at Thanksgiving.
Shh.
I hope not.
No.
Anyway,
so
go see Kara at the fair.
Yeah, come see the art exhibit. There are so many dog paintings and I had nothing to do with it. It just happenstance. But there's a lot of really cool dog art for us dog crazies, which made me happy. But
And maybe to cut down on the question, where are the dollhouses?
they are nowhere near the fine art. If you see fine art, you need to go back down the stairs. So we have a little tally. I call it the fine art diary. And as the workers are working, I quite literally have been to the fair almost every day of the fair for the last 15 years or
God.
more. I mean, I was in the Fair Queen contest when I was 16, and I've been pretty much
going.
I've been going every year since then. Okay. But so we have this state fair diary, and they'll write down questions, and then I'll answer them in the diary, and then the next workers know the answers to kind of these frequently asked questions that happen and pop up each year. They're new each year. But the question that happens, first person that walks up the stairs undoubtedly is like, hey, where's the dollhouses? First of all, why do you all care so much where the dollhouses are? Second of all, not up here, but you might as well look at the art while you're up here.
Right.
But they all just turn on a dime and go straight back down the stairs to go look at the dollhouses. I'm like, hey guys, I worked really hard on this. Look at our art.
You should just tell them. It's like...
Actually, if you go through here,
Right.
walk through the gallery, there's a back hallway. You take that down. But that's the only way to get through. You gotta take that down to the back. That's a really good idea. Tell them they have to go through the gallery to get to the dollhouses.
Yeah. I volunteered for you last year. It was like a 4-hour shift?
Yeah.
Yeah. It blew by.
Yeah.
And I think we got asked like 27 times or something like that.
Oh
in
yeah,
4
by the end of
hours.
the
It was
fair, it'll
crazy.
be 1,000 times. We'll be
When I
asked.
first got there and the volunteer that I was taking over for was telling me about this, she's like, and here's the dollhouse tally. I was like, the what? But then I got it.
Yeah.
Shortly after she left.
Yeah, it is so stupid. But anyway, we have a blast. We'll see how many years I keep subjecting myself to this. But I get rockstar parking on the top of the hill. I have a parking spot that is literally saved for me every day, which is awesome.
Nice.
And for a fair lover, that's a pretty big deal. So we like that. And so anyhow, I've taken a night off, but I'll be at the fair the rest of the time.
Well, speaking of State Fair and State Fair foods, we had a dog adopted
Yes.
named...
Well, I don't even know how to properly pronounce the name
Carrie's
of the
gonna kill
stand.
us.
I think it's
Is it
Crescenti is the name of the stand, right?
Is that the name of the food too, though?
Yeah, the
Okay.
stand. It's a Crescenti, and we looked it up, and it's like a deep fried dough on the outside, and then the sandwich is kind of like Italian meats and cheese.
Right. So I'm thinking like I never had one.
Me neither. And then they got booted
Now
or
they're
retired or whatever. The
Right.
stand isn't there. People are up in arms, very upset.
Last year it was the lemonade people.
Yes.
That really pissed me off.
They were
they're
only-
my favorite lemonade, and they didn't screw with the one down by the sheep barn. If they would have done that, I would have been in.
Well, now they have like a jumbo stand down there, and it sucks though.
Yeah.
But the old school one that was like the green with the lemon, and it had that one.
Hoppies.
Yes, that was the best lemonade, and there's nothing that compares.
Nothing compares
to the one they kicked out or whatever. So anyway, we have a dog that came in, and we'll talk about it as we go through our list, but a dog that came in and was adopted out that was named in honor of that stand, and she named it to be more masculine, but I think it's still Crescenti. That's how you say it.
A little Pomapoo. Very cute.
Very cute. Already on to its home. But hey, we had some psycho news, like really crazy good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I messaged Kara today. I was like, hey, what are we going to talk about tonight? And we're like,
I don't know. What's even happened? Oh, like
No.
the biggest thing of all time. Like
Right.
a really big news.
Yeah, we got this email last week. It was last week, right?
Yeah, it's been really fast. That's happened.
Everything these 2 weeks just fly by. We've said that.
Yeah, last week or the end of the week before.
And I don't know what I was doing, but you'd messaged me a couple times.
I called you and you didn't answer, and I'm like hyperventilating. Like, what is happening? Like, please.
You're like sending me all these links and these screenshots. And you're like, check the email, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? And then all I see is Miranda Lambert, $5,000 grant. Oh, my dog rescue. I'm like, no freaking way.
We had, I thought it was like a spam thing, and I'm like, what is this? And I Googled it to see if it was real, and it was real. So we were awarded the one rescue in the state. Every state, there's a single rescue or shelter that is awarded from Miranda Lambert's Mutt Nation. And it's called the Mutts Across America grant. And each of these rescues, one in each state, gets $5,000.
All right.
And
you can't apply for it. It's not something that you know.
We had no idea. They just research it on their own throughout the year, and they choose the rescue that they feel best meets the mission that they're trying to.
Right. So in the email or the write-up, it says, each year, Mutt Nation conducts extensive research to carefully choose the organizations that will be honored. And again this year is recognizing some of the outstanding shelters that help seniors, special needs dogs, large dogs, and pit mixes. The, quote, love harder dogs that are easy to love but hardest to get adopted. There is no application process for Mutts Across America, and the recipients are given no advanced notice before receiving the award. Their selection criteria is high adoption rate, high volunteerism, fiscal responsibility, high activity and fundraising, specialty, community presence, website and social media presence, and advocacy. Like, check.
We're working our tails off, and I'm like, we were just like, didn't know what to do with ourselves.
It's so nice to be recognized, like, and not ask. It's like when you ask for flowers instead of just getting flowers. You know what I mean?
It's like they were thinking of me when they were going by the flower store.
Right.
It was like that. Yeah. So
but lots of flowers, a big bouquet.
It was a crazy deal, and to have Miranda Lambert's name attached to it, it makes it even bigger deal because then it gets picked up by things. So I think majority of the country music stations have at least mentioned it since it happened. So we've seen that, and then we had a quick little news blurb on Channel 13.
Well, Kara did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
I was just standing there.
For the record, before we went in, we were like, we're going to make sure we have equal time. So every other question we answered.
Yeah. I did say things.
She answered one, and I answered one, and then she answered one, and then I answered one. And we went back and forth, and unlike sometimes during this podcast, I did not talk over her or anything.
You're right.
And they still only...
Maybe we should have done that.
And then they would have been forced to use. I think it's because she's more soft spoken, and this is what I honestly think happened. She's more soft spoken, and they put us near a street, and then the guy was just holding a microphone like this instead of like actually miking us up, which would have taken 30 more seconds each, So he's holding out the microphone and we're talking. Well, it's like her voice is like slow and soft, and it's not going to get picked up when there's traffic whizzing by.
Kara's so nice.
That is exactly what happened. Listen, I used to edit video, and that's what happened. They're like, the audio sucks for that girl. We're gonna just have to have her look cute and stand there.
I'm
just shit-eating grin, smiling.
I'm used to being on this podcast, like not paying attention. Half the time, I don't even remember that we're like physically recording this for YouTube, and so I'm just kind of spacing, like Space Cadet, like looking over here, looking over there.
You looked beautiful though, and so that in and of itself means something.
I had a great hair day.
You did. You looked really good, and so
hilarious.
Anyway, they cut out all of her important stuff she said. They just put
like where all the money is going. I talked about.
She's the one that answered that question, but instead of just like letting her answer that question, they had the reporter like say what she said. I'm like, oh, for fluff's sake.
Hilarious.
The worst. But anyway, so we have on there. And we've had a radio station reach out. So hopefully, we're gonna go do an interview there.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be live. So when we do our every other idea, it should work this time because they can't cut us out. I don't know
why I get so nervous about TV though. It's just I think it's a natural response, but.
Yeah, I guess.
I got a little flustered. I'm like, Holly, you talk about this all the time.
Right.
To literally anybody that will listen.
And most of the stuff on TV is the people that they have to find, the ones with no teeth, the ones with terrible lisps. You probably were above and beyond the normal content.
Speaking of lisps, can we take an aside?
Yeah, and this is nothing to say about how you're helping us, but for some reason,
when you listen to this podcast, like on Apple Podcasts,
like on the audio,
just the audio, it sounds either like I'm drunk or we're drunk,
and that I have a horrible
which sometimes maybe, not always,
sometimes,
not now,
not right now.
But we sound very slurred.
But then when you watch it on the video...
This is what cops ask when they... this is what they think.
But when you watch it on the video, and maybe it's because you can see our lips moving or something.
I thought about that too, but I closed my eyes and
I did it too. I turned on the YouTube and I closed my eyes and I was like, no lisp. So it's
that's so funny.
I don't know. But anyway, we don't have lisp.
We don't have a lisp. And it's not, we're not
Not
slurred.
that there's anything wrong with a lisp. If you have a lisp, you rock it, but we don't. You let that lisp flag fly.
I will now
say that 3 times fast.
All the lisping. We're going to add double lisp.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
You didn't know I was just inserting that.
You were just cutting off the ends of our words.
That's funny.
I don't know.
I messaged Kara last week. I was like... Either I had more to drink beforehand than I thought I did.
Which last time you didn't have
Or
anything.
I have a speech impediment. One of the two.
We both, it's the same. I don't know. And you're always more critical listening to yourself.
Well, that's true.
But there is a difference. So
nobody.
Anyway. If you're sick of listening to our fake lisps, go ahead and watch us on YouTube. And I guess it's not there. So I don't know.
Miranda Lambert, great. $5,000. So in the world of rescue, that's a pretty big deal. That's a really big deal. $5,000 when the average cost of it is, $490. That helps to save at a minimum 10 more dogs. But, as we know, there's a lot of dogs that come in that don't cost near that much.
Yeah.
It's the outliers that make the average come up. But
yeah, so it really helps pad things so we don't feel so stressed.
Give us a little buffer.
Plus being able to have, our rescue that has only been alive for
a year and a half,
get that recognition. And the past rescues from the state that have gotten this award are ones that have been around for a really long time and are much larger in volume. And so that's pretty cool.
Big morale boost for our Mutt Mafia.
Everybody was pretty jazzed.
For real.
Yeah, it was good. And actually Miranda Lambert has a country song. I think it might be a little bit about dog rescue. I'm not sure. But I've heard that, and it's not like any sort of devil thing, but like if you play it backwards, then what happens is you actually get your wife, dog, and your truck back. So
she snuck the bad joke in early for you folks.
Well, we had to pair it with the country music.
Shoot.
So anyway, amongst all of that, so because of the state fair and all of the things, Holly and I were like, well, mostly Holly's like, hey, you crazy person, let's take a break because
this is
you're busy. And so
I said we're on vacation. And I'm about to take a Forrest Gump vacation if we don't actually take a vacation.
So we were going to try and not do any intakes, which I will say, other than what happened today, we did lessen the intakes that we normally would take during the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, we did, because we had a big announcement today that one of our breeder release doodles, the one that was pregnant, gave birth early this morning to 10 puppies. Actually 11. The 11th, usually when you have litters that are big like that, they don't all make it, and the one was stillborn. But 10 puppies, so that's 10 new lives brought in. And then 7 other dogs that we took in during our vacation from taking in dogs. So.
Right. Yeah. And
That's
I don't
only,
think
like,
we
one
had
every other
anything
day.
to do with any of them.
No. So the first one is
Like we didn't,
see.
nobody tagged us and was like, hey, can you take this dog?
Yeah,
Or
we didn't reach
it wasn't
out.
a useless thing.
No.
Or,
It was all somebody who knew somebody, or like an emergency or something like that. So Muffin, who was in and out because was a foster fail, was a little Havanese that had reached out and was a lady who is going into the nursing home. Adorable thing. I mean, that would have been 30 seconds either way. So in and out. Hank.
No comment.
Yeah, Hank Jr. When we had that weird mix of puppies earlier this year that were pit bull labradoodle mixes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they kept one because they thought they wanted to keep one, and then they thought they didn't want to keep one, so we got the last one now.
Weird.
That's
funny. Remember when we were talking to Kelly and Craig?
Yeah.
And she was like, what's all the
Maybe we
what's
should
with
just
all
put-
these doodles, and we were telling her we just took an 11 doodle. She's like, maybe we should just add doodle onto everything. Ha ha ha, like pit doodle. And we're like,
Actually, we've had pit doodle. Yeah.
And now it got spoken to existence, and here we are with
this is
a
the type of
pit
crap that happens.
labradoodle.
It's really cute. It's kind of like a tri-colored, almost German Shepherd colored dog, little wire hair.
I don't really see the doodle in it, but
We
I
didn't see
get
the
it.
doodle in any of them.
Yeah.
It's very. But they did a DNA test, and sure enough.
Well, I know how you love those.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it corroborated the story, which is mostly pit bull, doodle, and then Patterdale, whatever the heck a Patterdale Terrier is. So that one is to us now, and then we had 2 Pomapoos and a Shih Tzu that were all brought in by the same foster, who I think she's just sitting around looking for little tiny fluffy adorable
She's gone
problems.
totally rogue.
She's gone crazy.
Totally rogue.
She's gone crazy.
Crazy girl.
Crazy. But when she goes crazy, she handles it and just makes her own appointments and takes care of the dog and all the things. And that's our rule. If you're an approved foster and you're doing a good job, if there's a place for it to go, just let us know. And then that's what's happening.
There we are.
And one of those has already been adopted, one of the Pomapoos, the one that was named after the Crescente, whatever. The other one is named Ducky, and Pillsbury is the Shih Tzu, which is very cute little dog.
And then we named all of the little doodle babies fair names.
Fair names.
Of course, I had to have lemonade in there. That was my only contribution to that entire thing.
Yeah, we should read them off. So we said our fair lady gave birth, and she gave birth to sweet corn, corn dog, lemonade, butter, taffy, cookie, grandstand, bush, Ferris, and slingshot.
Is Bush like Bush Light?
Like Bush Light.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I spelled it right. Bush. Yeah. And then the other 2 that came in, 2 more puppies. All of these are like puppies. River is a Springer Spaniel, which I never see those in rescue. You don't see them too much anymore. But apparently it's a purebred AKC.
And he's only like 9
Springer
months
Spaniel.
old, right?
Yeah, about 9 months old.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I do not understand the name. It came with this name. The name is Irish Dragon. What is that? What is an Irish Dragon? I should have Googled it. Anyway, we have no idea what it is, but our best guess is some sort of Beagle Sheltie mix. It's like a little red and white, adorable, but very young, only like 9 weeks old. So, yeah. So that's all the intakes.
It kind of looks like a wishbone
collie mix type thing. Yeah.
Right.
Cute. But what is an Irish dragon? I don't know.
I looked it up. It doesn't say much about
It's
it.
just fake. It's not a real thing.
Dragon-like monster. Irish mythology and folklore, these monsters were believed to inhabit many lakes and rivers in Ireland.
So,
Okay.
like the Loch Ness Monster is an
kind
Irish
of, yeah.
dragon, right?
Many are legends of saints and heroes for fighting them. The
It's a terrible name, is what it is. That's all it is.
It's a bad name, and we can say that because it came from the person who released the dog, which apparently it's a 9-week-old puppy that got dumped. I don't know if I buy that, but we'll see. We won't see. Whatever. It is what it is. We have the dog now. But we also had, so it's like nothing ever happened. We had 16 dogs adopted. So we're only +1, really.
17 in, 16 out.
16 out. And a few of the ones that went out were difficult to adopt out dogs, I would say. One being Groovy Joe. I was there for a meet and greet for him, and he would be like, hey, I love you. Everything is great. Give me a treat. And so everyone was like, no, I don't think he's the one, you know. And finally this guy,
What do you mean?
yeah. This guy met him, and he thought about it for 2 weeks. He had a dog that had passed away, and Groovy Joe kind of reminded him of his dog who passed away. He thought about it for 2 weeks. He's like, I think it's too soon. I'm not ready for another dog. He thought about it some more, reached out, and then within a day after that, he was like in his arms looking like twins.
And that adoption photo, we get this all the time. The adopter looks like the dog, or vice versa,
Yeah.
however you want to
They
think
both
about
have
it.
a beard. It's cute.
It's like the upside down,
Like,
opposite deal. It's
Yeah.
You have to go look at it.
yeah, Groovy Joe. And then Penny, who is the little Havanese who in my driveway tried to take off my pinky finger. She got adopted, and the lady like just swooped her up, picked her up. Everything's fine. Like they pick it out. They're like, "Yep, that one's fine. I'll go with her."
And that adoption photo too. She's just like derp.
yeah, that little dog is.
I mean, her
goofy.
eyes are just a little too close together.
Well, she's got a human face. Is the
Yeah,
deal.
that is creeping me out, man.
But I feel that way about the other Havanese too. Like they look kind of like, because of that light colored eye or something is weird. And then Gypsy Rose, who is the 600-year-old. Yeah, see, kind of a weird looking dog. Isn't it? Gypsy Rose was a 600-year-old wiener dog that Holly's parents ended up fostering for us when an emergency came up for the other foster.
Oh my god, I have to tell you something really quick. It just hit me.
Is this recordable?
Yes.
Okay.
I was working the clubhouse the other night, and this guy came up and asked me for a side of ranch, and all I heard in my ranch. Oh god,
We were at the fair, and
Sorry,
they have
completely unrelated. It just hit me, and I didn't want to forget it.
there's not a lot of like vegetarian options at the fair, you know. So there's this one booth or stand or whatever that's called the veggie table, and they have like veggie corn dogs and stuff like that. But then they also have like deep fried like mushrooms and stuff. So I got some like mushrooms.
I get a side of
I was standing up there and I was like, "Do you guys have any ranch?" Cam is like losing her mind, and we go around the corner and she goes, "Look, Mom, ranch." I'm like, nobody's gonna ever know what's wrong with us but ourselves.
Oh
and
shoot! Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know. Oh,
Gypsy Rose.
Gypsy Rose
She's in and out. And the new adopter sent pictures. These
in an outfit. She's in an outfit now. She's got clothes.
And so I had gone down like the day before the adopters came, and Gypsy Rose slept about 23.75 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so she was just laying in her bed, just sleeping away. And I went down to just kind of give her a nice little, "Hey, Gypsy, you know, how are you?"
She took
oh
your
my
finger off?
god, she exploded.
Yeah.
She was pissed.
She don't like to be messed with during her sleepy time.
Dad's like, "Yeah, just leave her alone." I'm like, "No shit."
She didn't have any teeth though, so whatever.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do?
Yes, but I was cracking up when you were telling about the adoption when the people got there, about how the lady was like,
Yeah. So I'm pulling in as they're pulling out. My parents live just down the road from me, so I'm going in and out all the time. And they're like in their vehicle, like backing up. And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Holly with Oh My Dog. Thank you so much for adopting. You know, we're so happy for you and Gypsy Rose." And the lady's like, "Yeah, she's just going to have the best years of her life with us." And, you know, in my head, I'm thinking like, "Did you say years? Like plural. I'm thinking
Gypsy's got
if
minutes on
this
this
dog
earth.
sees Christmas, I'll put her in my Christmas card.
Right in the middle.
But I'm not going to say that. But it was,
we did, but they won't listen to this. I had another person come, and I thought Gypsy Rose and Squeakers, I thought both of those dogs were going to die in my house, and they both got adopted out, and Squeakers did die pretty quickly after, but the people knew, and she loved him. And same thing, he had like 600 toys, and she has since adopted another dog from us, which will last actual years, unlike Squeak, but hilarious.
Yeah. I'm saying that in the group chat with Mom and Dad, and Dad's like, wow, Holly, thanks for all your positivity. And I'm like, listen, if that dog actually lives years, I will eat an actual crow. I'm not kidding you. Come on. Let's be real about
Not
this.
happening. Yeah.
No, that's the nice thing about adopting older dogs. I've never been much for puppies. It's just not my jam.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you can experience so many dogs, and the reward of it is so wonderful. I will always have at least one super senior in my household.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that a little bit in our next episode too. It's just
the types of dogs that are best for you and what you like to do.
just getting to experience
all of it, and all the
know?
different kinds of dogs, and
never be nervous to adopt an older dog.
No,
Yeah,
it's super rewarding. I adopted and kept a very senior pug. I don't even know how old she is now, because she is Ninja. She acts.
I think she duped you. I think she acted super old.
She was like decrepit and like couldn't move around.
And now that she knows she's
she's like staying. She quite literally, have you ever seen a video of like a rhinoceros like going after something?
Yeah.
She does that shit to our pit bulls. She's like, "Rah!" And then she's this little, and she's got one short leg, so it just dangles, And
she kind of reminds me of the bat off of The Great Mouse Detective.
She's just got this face that's like, I'm gonna mess you up. And then she goes running, and seriously, full bore, hits her head and bite at the pit bulls. And the pit bulls are just like, hey, what's going on? What are we doing? Are we going to play? Did you want to have a toy? I'll go get you a toy. And she's like, I'm going to kill you. And I will never train this out of her because it gives me great joy. It's very funny, and none of my dogs care. And she has like 3 teeth, so she's not hurting anybody, but it just... Unfortunately, I got her because I thought that she was going to live like another 6 months, and now we may be looking at years.
Yeah. Literal years.
So we'll see what lasts there, but she gives us a lot of joy with her anger. It's really funny. Okay. Curly Lambo, the 100-pound doodle. Finally out the door to a wonderful family, all kinds of kids. The kids came in the door.
The mini horse.
They took one look at that little Shetland pony. They looked up, and Mom and Dad said, I love Curly. Like, what are you supposed to do? So they took him home. Magic was a little breeder release Bichon who...
Technically a foster fail.
Yeah, a foster fail. From the moment I opened up my door.
Right.
She took one look at this dog and was like, oh no. And I'm like, all right, bye. And she just made the adoption official, but little Magic has landed in a wonderful home and is flourishing. Spent days and days not eating, and then finally decided, oh, I'm here to stay. I'm gonna dump over my food bowl and eat off the floor.
Bit of deja vu again.
Did we already talk about Magic? I don't think so. No, I did. Listen. I tried my best.
She was on episode 8, adoptions.
Was she?
We did talk about it because remember we said Holly adopted her, not this Holly, the other Holly.
Oh. Okay. Well, it was on the 29th, but we knew that it was happening.
I did the same thing on the last one with
whoever
Sissy.
Yeah, we'll just talk about these over and okay.
We actually are very organized
and very busy.
But it's the date thing because I think we pull
the date.
Today,
yeah,
and I did it last time, and you did it this time.
And that happened like the day of our last podcast. So
Oopsie
anyway,
daisies.
well, there we go again. Hazelbean, which was a chocolate lab.
At least we
went home.
know that we're doing it. If we didn't know that we were doing it, I would be more
Well,
concerned.
I didn't know. You did.
The shoe fits.
Hazelbean Chocolate Lab, Poopsie, Bichon, another foster fail. This has been a foster fail type of week. Trixie, did we already talk about Poopsie? God damn it. Dog damn it. What did I do?
Yeah, Poopsie was on the last. Because remember, we were
Because I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't do.
And Poopsie.
Yes, I knew it was going to happen, but the date was the next day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you've heard these things, just keep it to yourself.
I think you did this to skew the counts.
To make you feel like I wasn't causing a trouble on the other end of things. Listen. Did we talk about Trixie?
Yeah, because remember we said Trixie who? Who the fuck is
But
Trixie?
she was an intake. Hold on. Let me go back.
See, we take good
Adoption.
notes, too.
Trixie Lou was an intake last time, and this time she's an outgoing dog.
Well,
so
good. Just
we
2
talked
weeks
about
then.
her twice, but in 2 weeks she was in and out.
Well done.
Phew. Okay, I think things are gonna get better from here. Chansey, one of the Golden Doodles. Nova May, Golden Doodle. Nope.
Yeah, and Chansey and Fletcher.
They went back. They
back
came
to
in and
Joel.
out. Yeah.
Yep, and then Enzo was the third one that got adopted by the.
Yes.
foster
Torchy was one of the Golden Doodles who came in super bonded with his foster brother, Curly, and really came out of his shell. And Torchy, I really kind of love this story. Went to go live with a young single guy who we're pretty sure just got a house to get a dog.
Aww.
He is a young engineer. I mean, maybe still drying off from birth. You know, he's really young. But he owns his home. He's got a great job, and he bought this house. And he was like, and we told him we weren't sure if Torchy was going to be okay without another dog and he said, well, then I'll get another dog.
Aww.
And so we're like, okay, cool. So I think he's going to be okay. Mazakine went home. That was that little black Chihuahua mix that I believe came in during the last time. Muffin. Oh, yeah, because Muffin came in and out in the last 2 weeks. And then, yeah, Crescentine back out. Which I will, in these show notes, tag what a Crescentine. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. There's no way I'm saying it right.
Well, knowing you and pronunciation.
I know.
It's
Only with names.
pretty
I'm pretty
good
good
bet.
with other things, but if it's a name, I'm screwed. We have a recipe for making your own if you'd like to make your own sandwich. So,
Yeah, we should ask Carrie about that.
does she know? Yeah.
Well, wasn't that
I've never
part
had
of her
one.
family?
Well, no, I think it was just kind of a State Fair staple, and
Oh,
so
I see.
she named it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So anyway, well, those numbers that we previously stated may be slightly skewed, so less adoptions.
It's
than
directionally
usual.
accurate. That's all we shoot for. I was listening to the...
I'm supposed to be on vacation, okay?
Yeah, right? I was listening to our last toy episode from last week, and I was like, I'm listening to myself talk, and I can hear myself having trouble finding the word that I was looking for.
And you're like, hey,
I'm
girl.
like yelling at myself on the radio, like, directionally accurate, Holly. Directionally accurate. Say the words. That was the word I was looking for.
Okay, all that being said, we had one time pretty early on in our rescue lives where we also were feeling directionally inaccurate. We were kind of all over the place. Things were wild. Things were crazy. But we spoke into existence a huge rescue. It was Holly's like dream rescue that she wanted to do when we started all of this.
We do this a lot. We talk about things that we want or that we think should happen, and then they happen.
Yeah.
And
good
like,
and bad.
That's what happened with this litter of puppies. Is Natasha was like, "Hey, I'd be down for a litter of puppies, of doodle puppies." I was like, "You are certifiable.
Yeah, you're
We need
insane, but
to
okay."
Get a psychiatrist in here ASAP."
But we asked and we said, "Hey, is there one of the dogs that might?"
Well, I did tell Joel. I said we have a foster who's batshit crazy. No, I didn't say that.
It's okay if
that
you did.
is
It was accurate.
that is specializes in litters and pregnant mothers. And
That was very politically correct of you.
And then he was like, oh, okay. And then when we showed up, he's like, that one's pregnant. I'm like, oh, great. Thanks for the heads up.
Cool.
Great donation.
Yeah.
His donation has multiplied.
It doubled. It quite literally doubled.
Woo.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so when we first started this rescue, and we got all the paperwork filed in November of 23 and actually started taking in dogs in November of 22, started taking dogs in January of 23.
Yes.
And I had told Kara that there was a puppy mill just, I think she's about 8 miles from me.
Mm-hmm.
Not even. Probably all of that. Doesn't matter. In my same county.
Close.
Like straight shot
Mm-hmm.
east of me. And she was on the Horrible 100 list that the Humane Society puts out. And she had been on there multiple times.
Right.
And driving by the place, and this happens a lot with puppy mills, is it doesn't look like
No, there are
anything.
buildings in the back, all the things.
Yeah, and this is just an old farmhouse on the corner of two highway intersection, and she's got a ton of horses, which that's a whole other.
Because they had to be rescued too, right?
Well, that's a whole another battle that they're all trying to fight, but
Luckily, we're not my dog and horse rescue.
right. But there's no kennels outside. There's no outbuildings that would house a bunch of dogs or anything like that. But on her IDAL's account, or whatever, the inspection reports, it says there's like 75 dogs, and I'm like, where
Yeah.
are they? I mean, it's a pretty big farmhouse, but it's like an old traditional farmhouse, the great big square
Yeah,
two
yeah, I
and
know
a half
exactly.
story ones, great big giant windows.
Yep.
And so anyway, I told Carrie, I said, well, if we ever get a chance to shut that down, that would be sweet. That would be awesome. And every time I drive by, because it's on my way to Ames, so drive by there, relatively frequently. And I drove by there every time thinking, I should just stop. I should just stop and ask, or just stop and, because actually.
You knew her through people, right?
She used to live on my road growing up. And I think she moved away when I was like maybe 9 or 10, somewhere in there. Young enough to break into her house when she, when she was trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Hoodlum shit. But anyway, then who called us? It was the groomers.
Yes, her groomer.
But it was a friend of the groomer, wasn't it, that called us?
I think it may have just been the groomer, but I don't recall now.
Yeah. Anyway, they called and said that, backpedal. When we had our very first inspection that January with IDALs, I had asked about this
Place.
puppy mill
Yeah.
that's just down the road from me, and she had told me, this and that there was some mental health issues there, mental health concerns.
Per usual, yeah.
Yeah, as we all know. And, but that she had been cutting back, and she was sending basically groups of dogs to Missouri.
Right.
Like to a rescue in Missouri. And I said, well, we're right here.
Right.
And I know her. I mean, I don't know if she'd remember me or not, which she did, but
Yeah.
anyway, we got a call, and it was Sarah.
Oh, yeah, a groomer
Yeah.
friend of a groomer friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a groomer.
Yeah, they're both groomers, Sarah
Yeah.
and Tony. Was it Tony? Anyway, there's so many names.
I can remember dog names,
I wish
but not
people had
names.
different funny names like we name them.
Yeah.
Anyway, they called and said, hey, she's ready to get out, retire. She's
Yeah.
not going to renew her license. This was in October. Her license expired in November, and she wanted out. And I was like, oh my God, okay, let's move, let's roll.
So we
now,
had
luckily, we had some time to kind of
we had
organize
a couple
it.
weeks maybe.
Yeah, I think about a week.
A week.
Yeah.
But still,
It was 13 schnauzers all at once.
It was 13 schnauzers, and we didn't have 13 fosters.
No.
Yet.
So this would have been October. So we're still
Pretty new.
really new. And it was the Schnauzer Bounce was our second large intake.
Yeah.
Because our first one was Perry, the
Perry.
Perry 7. This was our second one. And
Yeah.
then Knoxville happened after that. And then the Chihuahuas happened after that.
Yeah.
And then the Doodles. So.
Yeah. So we had to scramble and find people to foster several of which had never fostered before, which asking someone to foster a puppy mill release dog who has never fostered a dog before can create some problems, which we'll talk about where we landed and what things happened. Not because they took bad care of the dogs, but because they didn't understand the magnitude of just how feral and terrified these dogs were going to be.
And we don't always know either.
No.
Sometimes they can come out like the gal that you're working with.
Half of hers are beautiful and like very friendly and go straight out the door, and the other half are feral. Like, you just never know coming from these breeders which ones are going to be. And we'll hear from the inspectors, like, there's some that are favorites, right? So then they might get more attention and things like that. But I don't know. I think it's just dogs that are either more or less adaptable than others to that type of life.
Yeah, I got to backtrack. Knoxville happened, and then the Schnauzer Bounce, because we were full
It was
from
rapid
Knoxville.
fire. We used
That's
all
what
of
it
our
was.
fosters. Yeah.
Because Knoxville happened October 6th, and the Schnauzer Bounce happened November 11th. Yeah. When I said October, November, I was like,
Well,
wait a minute, they're backwards. So
I
that's
have-
why we were scrambling as well, because we'd just taken in the 13 from Knoxville not even a month
So
before.
all of our seasoned fosters were
Were-
helping us with
yeah.
those dogs. So then, I mean,
But what are you going to do? It wasn't
we
like...
were not going to say no, and we were the ones that she was willing to work with, so we had to
Right.
rock and roll.
Yep.
But we were so well organized, or so we thought, going into that. I mean,
We really were. We had
Yeah.
everybody had their own crate, and we put bags together.
Mm-hmm.
We had collected the vet records, and this breeder. Last time we had talked about the doodle breeder and being a quote reputable breeder, and we talked about how we don't feel that that's
right.
true because you're crossbreeding and
Right.
and whatnot. Now these were purebred schnauzers, so conditions not great.
No.
But the dogs coming out of there,
They were
granted,
pretty-
they were the last of the last, so I don't know what the first 70 looked like.
But they were pretty-
They were groomed up. They were up to date. They were
pretty well bred dogs. I mean, as far as like the breed standard goes. Which,
would
if
know-
you've been doing
you would
it,
know better than I would.
well, when you've been doing it for that long, your lineage should be somewhat sound, unless you're doing unsound breeding practices, which I don't believe that she was doing that. Now, husbandry was a whole different story. I don't
Right.
think these dogs were living in a very good situation, because what we heard was that big farmhouse you're talking about was just solely inhabited by the dogs. She wasn't even living there anymore. It was just all of the dogs in this farmhouse.
Taking it over.
So they weren't
Yeah.
even in like a kennel situation. They were just running in this wild pack of dogs. So then what we did was, well, we separated them, because you can't send 13 dogs to one
spot.
That doesn't even make sense, and they won't decompress properly anyway. So we were separating them in one at a time situation, and then they were like, oh, holy crap, this is my first time not being with my family,
With my pack.
my pack.
Right.
And they did not know what to do with themselves. I mean, they were petrified,
Yeah.
horribly scared.
And we had a lot of new fosters on with that group too, just out of pure need. It wasn't that our mafia didn't step up.
No.
I mean, they absolutely stepped up. It's just everybody already had a dog.
Right.
So, I remember I had to transport one of the dog. I met this new foster in Boone, and we had like double. There was a collar and a leash,
And a
slip
harness
lead, and
on
a
many
harness
of them. Yeah.
in a crate. And I had the bag and everything, and I just picked the crate. I mean, these were kind of bigger dogs. What are about 30 pounds, probably?
Yeah, they were kind of big for schnauzers,
Yeah.
for mini schnauzers, yeah.
Didn't even take it out of the crate. I took the crate from my vehicle, put it in her vehicle, and
Yeah.
I looked her dead in the eye. I'm not even lying. And I'm pretty, easygoing person, but I got real serious with her real quick. I said, listen to me. I looked at her just like this. I was like, do not, under any circumstances,
Let these
let this dog out of your house.
paws not on the ground. No paws, no ground. And all 90 pounds of her were very scary.
Because she lived up in Boxholm, and she didn't have a fenced-in yard, but we were out of options. We had to go with it. So we're like, okay, cool.
And actually, she did that. But then, leaving
There
the
was
house,
something the next morning or a couple
next-
mornings after that,
it-
and
one of the kids
kids coming in and out, or husband leaving. I don't know. Somehow the front door got left open for 2.5 seconds, and the dog, bam, gone.
Yeah. And it actually had an adopter lined up.
Yeah. And
and this was Bear.
if you're familiar with
Bear.
Boxholm, Iowa, whatsoever, it's a little
the size of a small Amazon package.
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere on 169 between Ogden and Dayton, Ogden, and Gowrie-ish, somewhere up in that area.
Yeah.
North of Ogden.
Middle of freaking nowhere is where.
And this was in, again, October and November, and they had just plowed all the fields up there, tilled all the fields.
Yeah.
And so this little dog is all black.
Completely black.
Completely
Yeah.
black. And he's gone. He shot out, and they never saw the dog again.
Yeah. Couldn't.
There were no sightings. There was nothing. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. We're never
first...
going to find this dog
Yeah.
ever again. And what are we going to do? It's not like it's in a metropolis. It's not in Des Moines where
no one's
going to
spot
get
it.
seen.
Yeah.
It's going to get taken off by a coyote before anything else. So Natasha and I think I went up there. Mom and I went up there.
You did a few rescue missions.
There were
there.
3. It was 3 days in a row or something, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. We went up there. We got eyes on it. Finally.
Yep. And this is the story, if you recall back from early on in the podcast, where we talk about Natasha and her purple Jeep off-roading through the field to try and catch this Schnauzer.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it that day.
No, we went up and walked all of Boxholm, which
Took 13 or 14 minutes.
feels bigger when you're walking it. But, all around the elevator, all around the school. There's an old school up there, in all the buildings and everywhere. Well, then somebody had called a sighting in at this little farmstead out just a mile outside of Boxholm, on the same mile. And so Mom and I run up there. I just jump in my car and run up there, which in hindsight was dumb, but it is what it is. Message the group. Natasha's like, I'm on my way. And I'm like, I don't even know where you're from. I didn't really know her that well
before.
Then. Yeah, exactly. I really hadn't ever met her before.
We weren't in a relationship yet where we talked 70 times a day.
And so we get up there, and it's like a cattle farm, and we finally spot the dog. And just south of the cattle farm, there's a cemetery, and the dog keeps going between the cemetery and the cattle farm and back and forth. And so finally he goes out in the field, and I said, Natasha, use that Jeep what it's for. Get it out there in that field. Just chase that dog down. She's like, okay. All right. Oh, man.
Purple
I
Jeep.
hope you have insurance. But anyway, we ended up trapping that dog in a coyote trap.
You got close enough that Natasha got bit.
Yeah, we got it nailed down. I shouldn't say it like that. We got it pinned down.
You got to tackle these things.
And it was under Natasha's
a greased pig.
Yeah, it was under Natasha's Jeep, and the adrenaline's just crazy pumping. Yeah. And I was distracting it, and Natasha went to grab it, and she got hands on it, and it exploded and bit her, and it ripped her hand open, and it was a whole thing. It wasn't. You learn so much. Doing this
every minute of the day, doing this,
and
all
now
the things not to do.
That's one more thing,
but
not to do.
You ended up setting up some traps in the cemetery.
Yeah, I set up 2 traps up there, one in the cemetery and one about a half mile down. And the foster home actually went out to check on it at midnight.
Yeah,
in a cemetery in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, okay. Take your Ouija board with you. I don't know.
Well, we summoned the right spirits because Bear showed up in that trap.
Yeah.
And then now to this day, he's living a wonderful home in his adopted home, who waited that whole time while we were tracking this GD dog down.
That's when we started doing the Apple AirTags.
Yep, we started Apple AirTags after that, which we've got some. We could still use more if anybody wants to donate those.
I've learned a bit about Apple AirTags, which
you have to be close to an iPhone for it to ping.
It's not a tracking device.
No.
It is, but it's not. It has to have connectivity,
but any iPhone can give it that connectivity.
Right.
So a lot of iPhones around.
But out in the middle of nowhere.
But for what they do, they're the cheapest option.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you get like the FI tags, those are expensive to like keep up, and they're expensive to buy, and they're good for your own dogs, but like in mass quantities, you just can't do that.
Although we should call them
and see if they'll just give us like
a few of them.
50 collars or something. Yeah.
It's not the bat phone, is it?
No bat phone.
Oh, God.
We'll take a bat phone break after we get done with talking about the other two schnauzers who also ran amok from two.
Oh, God, that Altoona one.
Brand
I still have
new-
nightmares about that fucking dog.
So Altoona was the worst, but Grinnell is a pretty easy tale. Brand new foster, never fostered before, kindest people you have ever met in your life.
Wasn't that a foster fail, too?
Eventually.
Yeah.
But not before. They got it home and they had it in all safe, and then they thought, well, you know what? He's doing pretty good and he probably has to go potty, so we're going to take him out. Never take him out potty the first night, just saying. But they had him out. He got spooked, backed out of 2 leashes, and was on the run in Grinnell. So we're talking, we've got dogs missing in the same time period, within a couple of days, Boxholm, Grinnell, and Altoona. So we look completely inept. Like
it was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing, but nothing that anybody could have done. It was just crazy stuff. Like it was what it was.
It wasn't intentional. It was just inexperience and
So anyway, the kindest souls, and they felt awful. They were out till dark, up at dawn, looking for this dog. And I think that dog was only missing for like 2 days. And they got a phone call from a friend who lived across town and said, "Hey, there's a schnauzer on my porch." And she's like, "What?"
Well, that's nice of him.
Yeah. And he just sat on the porch. They rushed over there, cornered him in the porch, picked him up, brought him home.
And never let him outside again.
Never let him outside again. No, I think they actually got another dog, so now he has got a friend, but I actually babysat him when they had to go on vacation shortly after that. And when they got back from vacation, she like burst into tears, and she was just like, we felt so horrible leaving him. Like, we're connected to this dog, and I know we've been through hell and back with him, but we are committed and we want him to be our dog. And I was like, okay, but if he goes missing again, I'm not printing no flyers.
Put out your own search party.
Put out your own search party. But they handled that all beautifully. And then the third one that went missing, it was like a horror film trying to look for this dog. It didn't even make it into the house. The transporter handed it over to the brand new foster.
Again, inexperience.
Should have left it in the kennel. Should have taken it all the way into the house. But
it was a relatively new foster that was transporting to a brand new foster.
Yeah. So nobody knew anything. So they handed over the dog. She's like, "Oh, I bet he has to go potty." Sets him down. Phew, gone. So second dog that got caught, by the way, that was Carson. This dog was originally Zabrina and was later named Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, I bet.
For good reason. So here's the really crappy part of this whole thing. And I have to say that I cannot believe that my dumbness did this. But I was clear out in Saylorville, and I was like, I'm leaving right now, and I'm going to drive down to Altoona to go look for this dog. I turned to go towards the last place that the dog was seen, and there was this car along the side of the road looking up at the interstate. And I'm like,
I forgot about that.
And I'm like, why are they looking up at the interstate? I turned around, I looked up at the interstate, I didn't see anything. I was like, that's weird. What are they looking for? Like a moron, I'm on my way to go look for a missing dog. I didn't stop to say, hey, what are you guys looking at? So
all of this, like,
it's just in the heat of the moment, your brain doesn't work right, okay?
She's on her way to meet an entire ass search party.
Yes, and I don't think to say, and in fact, I didn't even put it together until hours afterwards. I was like, you know what? Okay, anyway, so we go search party. We look until dark. We're searching, and not just searching like a regular area. We're searching like a half an acre of reeds that are 15 foot tall, and they've got that fluffy crap at the top. So when you walk through them, the fluffy stuff's going in your mouth. We can't breathe. We can't see.
Like, you can get lost in this stuff. It's in like a waterway behind a Target.
And I think this was over the course of 2 days.
Yeah, because the next day I went.
Yes. And then I went back. Well, we were all there when it happened, when we got him. So we went back the next day, and
No. We were all there that day, and you guys all left. Yeah. And I said, you had to be somewhere. You were.
Well, because I left Marcus fishing
said.
at Saylorville. I just left him. I took his truck and I left him. He's like, I'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, you will, because I got to go. So he fished for hours while I dug through reeds for a stupid schnauzer.
Oh, tough gig. So you had to go, and so I said, well, I'm gonna just drive around. And then I stopped in at Target.
We got a tip.
Of course. And we got a phone call, and they said they had just seen him over by there's an implement dealer or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I went over there and walked and didn't see him. And then I was getting ready to go home. I was like, all right, I'm done. I mean, I was on my own. What am I going to do anyway on my own? I'm not going to be able to put hands on this dog by myself anyway, even if I did see it.
Right.
So I'm going back under the overpass to get on the interstate.
In the exact spot.
And right between the lanes, there he is.
So we're talking an overpass where the grass is directly straight up and down. You had to use all of your might to climb up this grass because it's so
steep,
vertical and steep. Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, just
right
chilling.
next to the interstate.
And
all the cars driving. Of all the places, why would he be there?
So I take a picture, send it to the group chat. I'm like, eyes on, dispatch.
I turned around.
SOS right now.
Marcus fished a little longer.
So I'm like, okay, now what? So I'm just waiting for people to show up, just trying to keep eyes on him. And he starts going up
further up towards the interstate.
The bank, up towards the interstate. I'm like, you little bastard. So I go on the other side and go up, cross the freaking interstate.
Oh my God.
Because he's thinking he's going to keep going south down the median, down the interstate. And I wanted to cut him off at the pass. So there. I'm like, Frogger the interstate, and his semis are like, what are you doing?
I've said it
What
once,
is wrong with you?
And I'll say it 1,000 times. We will die at the hands of a dog. At the paws of a dog, Holly and I.
Let's not speak that into existence.
It's how it's going to go down. It doesn't have to be now. It'll be when we're old. But
so I keep him where he's at. Mike and Linda show up. Somebody else and their boyfriend and girlfriend show up.
Yeah, this other couple who had been out searching, who were kind of to help look for lost dogs and stuff, were there. And then I pulled up last, and we just all creeped up this hill in a huge group. And Mike
tackled him.
He tackled him. He was getting bit over and over again, and he's like, I'm not gonna let go. It was like a Rocky film with guns blazing. I don't know some sort of crazy action movie, and he's getting bit by the dog, and he's like, I'll never let go. And it came out in an Irish accent. It was really weird.
What is wrong with you? She's making all of this up.
He did say I won't let go.
He did. You're right. But the rest of it is totally your imagination.
But it wasn't like the Titanic, I'll never let go, because she did indeed let go. He didn't let go. This was
I remember after they drove off, did I take the dog or they took the dog?
They took the dog.
Oh, yeah, they took the dog home.
They're like, we're going to foster it.
Yeah.
Because we had already kicked out the foster who lost the dog. And
then it was just you and I on the side of the road. And I just remember giving you the biggest hug.
I picked you up and twirled you around yet again, like the end of a beautiful action film. Had you been wearing a dress, it would have been really magnificent.
I was so exhausted by that point.
But I told Mike, I said, I could kiss you on the face, and his wife goes, go ahead.
Oh, Mike and Linda. Yeah, they're great.
The best. But yeah, that was the most dramatic freaking rescue ever. And I cannot believe you spotted that dog. I can't believe we spent so many hours looking for that dog, and I drove right past it and thought I was an idiot.
And then you tell me that a few hours later, you're like,
actually, I had it in memory right now.
I'm like, you could have picked a better time to tell me this.
I'm lucky I'm still here to this day.
Oh, man.
But that's how my brain works. It compartmentalizes things to such a bad degree that later I put it together and I'm like, well, crap. That didn't work out.
Tracks.
That didn't work out how it should have.
So all of this to say, that poodle that we took in out of the poodle
doodles,
doodle
yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
Still on the run, still on the loose. Thought we had a sighting.
And it was a false alarm.
False alarm.
We've had 0 sightings of that dog, and without a sighting, there's not a lot that we can do. We've got flyers up everywhere. We've got posts on every single website.
Should still have a collar on him with our information on it, the foster's information on it.
Unless he slipped out of it at this point, because he was dragging a leash, so it's possible. I don't know. We were working with a group who does a lot of the searching for this is a huge need. This happens all the time. It's not just us, right? Okay, so there's a group who just does this, who helps look for scared dogs that are missing. And the foster who lost the doodle, who is still on the run, said, I feel so helpless, like what else can we do? And she said, there's not much we can do anymore without a sighting. And at this point, if we went through walking through the woods, it would be a recovery mission, not a rescue mission. And so that was kind of hard to hear, but I think we needed to hear it just to know that, like, if it happens and there's a miracle, it's possible he's still okay. But we've done all we can at this point. Yeah. And it's really too bad, but... Well, anyway, if you see a dirty ass doodle running around Beaverdale, it's ours.
We've heard, we've seen crazier things happen. I mean, dogs popping up out of, weeks later.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been dogs that have been back and people have found after like a year. I mean, not that we want this dog running for a year. It'll be like a woolly sheep. We're gonna have to call your dad, but
I'm glad the weather's been nice.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been anything that would have been...
And it got out near a water source.
So there's a major water source, and it's just a matter of it's finding food.
And we've asked for local businesses that are nearby for like video footage.
CCTV footage.
Yeah,
We've looked for everything, but it is just I don't think people talk about it a lot, because it is embarrassing when you like try really hard and you get all of these dogs and you think, oh my gosh, I'm doing this good thing and I'm taking them out of this breeding cycle, and then they go on the run. But it's a thing that happens
more than you think.
Pretty often, like in the world at large. And so we're learning as we go along. But it was that Schnauzer Bounce. It just got more and more dramatic, and I was like, another one? Like, what do you mean?
You're in this group chat like, hey, don't
quit letting these dogs outside.
Quit letting them outside.
Please quit letting the dogs outside.
Clean up the mess. If it's between looking for a lost dog and cleaning up a potty mess while these dogs decompress for a couple days, I will send you a box of Bounty.
Right. Yeah. Let's take a minute. And then once they learn to trust you, it's less likely that they're going to run. But in that moment when they're taken away from their pack, they've literally been running in a pack of 30 dogs just running amok in a house. Yeah. They don't know what you're trying to make them do when you think, oh, they might need to go potty. You know what I mean? So anyhow, so... That's that. That was the Schnauzer Bounce. And we got them all back. So up until this last group, any dog that had ever like slipped away from someone or whatever, we've always gotten them back. And this is our only one that we haven't been able to. So that's...
and I think you said it's embarrassing, which it is embarrassing. But if you think about it, it's really no different than your own personal dog, getting away from you.
Have you ever had that happen? Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
Stanley got away from me once.
Yeah.
And... I mean, he was off in the wilderness.
I had a tiny homeward bound situation at my house.
I mean, it's happened to everybody, hasn't it?
Yeah.
My dad had a dog, Zig. He was on the run for like 2.5 weeks. Border Collie.
Yeah.
Found him like a mile away.
And he's like, I'm fine. I was just on an adventure.
It happens.
Yeah.
But we're doing our best.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Gandalf, our featured dog.
So Gandalf came to us because we had a series of this. Like, it was like 5 dogs in a row that they're like, we had a baby, the baby's mobile, the dog isn't happy. And that just kept happening. I'm not going to dive too far into this at this time, but there's things you
considered getting rid of the baby?
I mean, or perhaps a baby gate, separate them while this thing is crawling. It doesn't last forever, you know what I mean? But anyway, Gandalf was not a big fan of the baby in the house. I don't know if there was a bite or if he was just nervous or what. But the weird thing was the wife didn't come, which I understand it was probably painful for her to have to get rid of the dog, but the husband dropped the dog off. And every time that happens, no offense, Tanner, but I remember why I don't really care for men, because they just walk up and they shove the dog in your face. Zero sadness, zero like information that I should know about the dog, and I'll try to like get it out of them. Not that I want any emotion. Listen, I don't want to have to cry with somebody. I'm not gonna cry with somebody. I don't want to have to pretend to be sad when someone else is sad about giving up their dog.
Kara doesn't even buy Kleenex.
No. I don't.
She's never needed it.
I don't want to have to go through like pretending to be emotional about you having to do this. Like, I've done too much of it. It's just I'm dead about that part of thing. But when these guys come up, they get out of their trucks, they leave it running, they walk up.
Oh, leaving the truck running thing.
Yeah.
Love that.
Leave the truck running, walk up, hand me the dog, and be like, all right, well, here's this bag, which obviously the wife packed, you know. And I'm like, is there anything I need to know? You know, like, what do you know? You know,
like, when was the last time you fed this thing?
He's like,
does it eat once or twice a day?
He goes, well, it pees outside of the house all the time. And I was like, okay, cool. Noted. All right. Dog has never peed in the house one time since we've had it in foster, just as an FYI. Gandalf is completely potty trained.
The dog was just being a dick to get out of there.
I think so.
Like, the baby can poop in the house. I am too.
Yeah, what the hell? What the heck? But he's this scruffle muffle little Chihuahua Terrier mix thing. He's really scruffety, and he has got these funny little ears that kind of poke up and down. And his foster, Barbie, reports that he's just absolutely wonderful, and he's kind of goofy looking, and he looks kind of like a wizard, which is why she called him Gandalf. But we just keep getting people interested in dogs that might not be a good fit for them. And then I keep saying, but what about Gandalf? And then they never, like, why? He's so cool.
Maybe it's a name.
I think so, but whatever. I didn't choose it. Sorry, Barbie.
This is how important names are.
It is. So anyway, no one has chosen Gandalf, and he's honestly perfect. He'd be great for like an older person who is just wanting a friend to sit on their lap, who again will not pee on their carpet. He has not had any accidents. He's so good. He's great on a leash. He doesn't need a fenced yard. He just, I guess, because of what we've been told about how he felt about the baby, we're just saying no little kids. But honestly,
I want to do a test the next time that we get like well, not this litter, but like a litter mates.
Yeah.
Next time we have litter mates.
Yes.
That are both same sex.
Mm-hmm.
I want to name one like
Charlie.
Okay, and the other one like something crazy. You know, like your normal name.
Yeah.
Like your normal names.
Yeah.
And then just like a regular.
Yeah.
Like a Bob.
Like any of my dogs' names.
And I want to see which one gets adopted first.
But
they have to look pretty much
we've done
the same.
This. So remember we had those little scruffle long dogs, and we had Pop-Tart. And then we had, let me look, who was with Pop-Tart? Let me find it in the thing. And Pop-Tart had 600 applications, and the other ones, nothing. Pop-Tart. Okay, Pop-Tart was one. The other one was Ivy, and the other one was Oliver, and the other one was Pearl. And then the other one was Thistle Pete. Guess who had the most applications? Pop-Tart and Thistle Pete. Who didn't have applications? Ivy and Oliver. They all looked exactly the same. They're those coton d'atelier, very cute dogs. Pop-Tart, Thistle Pete, bam, bam.
Yeah. So Pop-Tart went lickety split.
Yeah, so we got them in. Cute, we got them in on the 11th, and Pop-Tart went home on the 13th. But before the 13th, had about 17 apps, and well, they all went relatively quickly. But I'm just saying that a majority of the applications were for Pop-Tart, and then when she didn't get adopted, we passed them on to the other dogs, and then they filtered in, and they're like, well, I guess that one's cute. I could also name this one Toaster Strudel, and it would be just as good. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Just saying. And the cute thing about that name is it's Marissa, and she thought little about this name. She just asked her little boy, like, what do you want to name this? And he looked down in his hand and he was like, Pop-Tart, because that's what he was eating at the time. And I'm like, that's genius. He's perfect.
That'll work.
Yep, that'll do. So anyway, but we should try it again and just do like half like average names and then half weirdos. And the
Yeah.
weirdos are going to go.
Yeah.
It's a real science. So anyway, so that's
experiment.
Gandalf. He is available for adoption on our website. He is small, apartment sized. He likes other dogs or not. He likes, whatever you've got. He likes people, and
If you're active, he loves to be active. If you're lazy, he loves to be lazy.
He is an adaptable little wizard. He'll be a magical companion for you.
Oh man. One of our fosters that took one of these doodles,
Yes.
Chansey, and now she actually has
She took
Uma?
no
Yuma?
Zuma. Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah, you just forgot one letter. Zuma, she has taken several dogs for us, and here's the thing that I love about this foster. She isn't afraid of the big kids.
Yeah,
Which
because
I
she
love.
has a lot of her own.
Yeah. Well,
And
she's
she-
got two, right? Two.
Yeah, she used to have her I guess what
Grand
you'd call
dog.
grand dog.
Mm-hmm.
So she had quite a few larger dogs, and now she's just moved into a new place, a new
Great
home.
yard.
Has a nice fenced-in backyard, which butts up next to the the high school, and so all the kids walk like by her
She
backyard.
should put a sign up and says, tell your mom you want this dog right on the fence. Beautiful.
Beware of dog.
No, tell your mom you want this dog.
Anyway, her name is April Hanley.
Yeah.
And April, I apologize if it's supposed to be Smith. Anyway, it's April.
We just know her as April,
We
who
just know her as April.
she has taken in, is this right, 8 dogs?
Yeah, so she started off with us, and then she took a break because she got a new job with the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
She is actually on base at help me out,
Camp Dodge.
I want to
Yeah.
say Fort Dodge, Camp Dodge.
I know it.
And she was moving and this and that and the other, so she's recently joined us again.
Back in the mafia.
She's back
Well,
again.
she never left the mafia, but she's now active again.
Yes, and she's doing a great job. She
But I do have to razz her a little bit. So the first dog that she ever took for us, and granted, we didn't have like our full foster manual all figured out, and we didn't have all the step-by-step instructions and guides and things. But the first dog she ever took was this little wafy dog named Co. And she did the adoption, and
gosh.
she was like, Co got adopted. I'm like, cool. I'm like, and she sent the photo. I'm like, this is really great. Congratulations. Good work.
mail us a check.
And I said, how did they pay for the adoption fee? And she's like, what? And then I said, did you get a contract? She's like, oh, I took a photo. And from there, the foster manual was born. We're like, we need to make a diary about this. But the crazy thing was the guy that adopted Co was like a little weird about wanting to pay and wanting to like sign the thing. So it kind of became a deal.
Yeah.
So we learn all the time. We are learning things. This was so long ago. It was the very beginning, and she jumped right in. But since then, she has gotten better at photography. She was also kind of a poor dog photographer at first, but she's gotten better at that. She's taken a Catahoula leopard dog, which is not an easy dog to foster or own.
Yeah. That was a load.
Yeah, that was a lot of work, and she worked
Ruger.
That was a lot. It was a cool dog, but
Those dogs have that's a breed that has a specific purpose. It's like adopting
kill
a border
lions,
collie.
right?
Okay, yeah.
Something like that.
Right? So and there's
for some reason we got like 3 in a row. Never had one before.
never even heard of it. And then we had 2, and the guy that adopted Ruger
Adopted the other.
fostered the other one and ended up adopting that one too, right?
He didn't even really foster it. I just dropped it off and we never went back.
Has he been trying to get a hold of us? I don't know.
No. Just about his car's extended warranty. No, he was like, yeah, we'll keep this one. It's cool. So now he's got 2 Catahoulas from us.
Which to have one
Yeah.
is something.
But he's figured it out. He's learned about the breed and done well. And then she also took what I thought was the cutest dog she's had was Bubbles, this little Rottweiler mix. Beautiful little dog. Did a great job with that one as well. And then she's also taken a few dogs that haven't worked out in their original foster homes. And then she takes them and just sees of a change of scenery. She's always willing to do that. She's like, if it's not working out, I'll try it at my house and just see how it goes.
She's a great backup. And I think because she has the other larger dogs.
Yeah. They kind of just show that dog the ropes. And,
yeah. They pack up.
It's been really good. Yeah. So she did a good job with that. And then, and
April is so like, she has like a dog person come over and let her dogs out during the day. Like and if I see her in Madrid, like, hey, you want to grab a beer? What? No, I got to get home, let the dogs out. Okay.
My dogs are just crossing their legs while I get a beer, but okay, fine. Yeah, she's taken a couple doodles for us now. And anyway, I just really appreciate you, April, and what you do when you say yes for us. You're usually getting us out of a bind.
Out of a tight spot.
Out of a tight spot. And she,
as we like to call it.
Yeah. And it's worked out really well for the dogs. And some of those dogs might not have had a chance otherwise because not everyone will say yes to those ones that are a little bigger or a breed that they don't understand. And she is always willing to give it a shot. So
yeah, and she's good with the other fosters too because she's done this a few times. So as far as like,
so she learned things like you have to take payment and get a signature, and so now she can tell others. So she's a good foster ambassador, I would say.
She just jumps in. Like she transported Tracy and Johnny's dog back from Uni West.
Yeah.
And, like it just seems to always work out with April. So I really appreciate her being on the team and.
Yeah, and she
links us up with, as we should probably mention in this, well, we'll have another episode before that. But anyway, April's also on the Labor Day committee for Madrid, the city of Madrid. Mm-hmm. So that's their big celebration weekend. Slater has the 4th of July, whatever. Madrid has Labor Day.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be working the beer tent for Labor Day, I believe Sunday night from 7 to 11.
And now because Miranda Lambert sang about us and stuff, it'll be like having celebrity bartenders.
Right.
So
so all the tips from that night go to Oh My Dog Rescue. So please come up and
it's a fun time. We like to get to see you, and if there's a few minutes in between tossing beers over the counter and we get to talk to you about dog rescue, we'd like that too. So
yeah, we'll have our t-shirts and stuff there.
Yeah,
t-shirts and tank tops. We should get some stickers and whatnot.
Yeah, come get some merch, get some beer, have some fun, and you don't have to go to work in the morning.
Celebrate
so it'll be
us.
fun.
Yeah.
I
think we're going to have a microchip clinic in Madrid soon as well. That'll be at Flat Tire Lounge. And we're still working on the dates for that, whatever works out best for us. I wish we could just wrap it all into that day. Like,
I know, it would be nice.
The whole thing on Sunday.
Actually, that's not a horrible idea. If we did the microchip clinic at the beginning of the day and then rounded it out with, I'll just come live in Madrid for the day.
Yeah, why not? So to that end, if we're looking for a paparazzi photographer.
That's paparazzi to you.
Paparazzi. Yeah. So we want to have pictures taken at the microchip clinic. Mm-hmm. To kind of drum up interest and
so if you know a photographer that might want to spend even just like an hour with us and take some photos of us, not during the stabbing of the actual insertion of the microchip, but like before, like cuddling puppies and kissing babies and things, we'll be doing that. And so we would like some help, and we'll put a call out for that particular volunteer opportunity as well. So
we need to get like a OMD backdrop.
Yeah, like on the red carpet.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down before I forget. Okay, well, that about does it for this episode.
Yes, so I don't know what the heck we learned other than that yet again, rescue is a roller coaster. We have these like crazy highs, and then we have moments of like, what the heck, we don't even know what we're doing.
Right.
But we're really thankful for our mafia that allows us to continue to do this. So, and as a reminder, I am now officially out of my back stock of heart dog info stories. So I'd like to hear about your heart dog. So if you've got a dog that has changed your life and made it just exponentially better, please just write us a quick story. Not too long and like use bullet points. That'd be cool because we're not great readers. But we'd love to hear from you. But thanks for supporting our rescue and our dream and for learning with us along the way.
Yep. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Oh
Bye.
my dog. Dog. Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
What I mean when I see, what I see, what I feel, when I dream, when I be, I'm a freak. What up? Oh, what up? Everybody look at me when I'm free, when I feel what I see, when I